You know, there are some names that just scream mystery. And Area 51? It's right at the top of that list. For decades, it's been this legendary place, the ground zero for every story about crashed UFOs, alien bodies, and massive government cover-ups. So let's actually peel back the layers on this one.
So what is really going on out there in the Nevada desert? Is it the place where they're reverse engineering alien spaceships? Or is the truth something a little more down to earth, but maybe just as wild? That is the big question we are digging into right now.
Well, whatever they're hiding, they are absolutely serious about it. You go anywhere near the place and you're greeted with signs like this. This isn't your average no trespassing sign, folks. This is a clear message. This is one of the most secret, most heavily guarded places on the entire planet.
All right, so to really get the whole Area 51 legend, we gotta jump in the time machine and go way back to the summer of 1947. America was completely obsessed with UFOs. I mean, reports of strange things in the sky were coming from everywhere, which set the stage perfectly for a myth that would last for generations.
And it all kicks off right here. A rancher, a guy named Mac Brazel, is out on his property when he finds all this weird debris. Scraps of what looked like tinfoil, some rubber, weird thin beams. He had no clue what it was, but with all the flying saucer talk going around, you can bet his mind started racing.
And this is where the story just explodes. Brazel shows the wreckage to the sheriff, the army gets involved, and then the local army airfield drops a bombshell of a press release. They didn't just hint at it, they flat out said they had a flying disc in their possession. Can you imagine?
But then, bam! Just 24 hours later, the military does a complete 180. They take it all back. They put out a news story saying, oh, never mind, it was just a regular old weather balloon. Now that sudden switch didn't calm things down. No way. It poured gasoline on the fire and started decades of suspicion.
So the whole thing kind of went quiet for a few decades. But then, in the late 70s, it came roaring back. People who were there, the original witnesses, started talking again, making these incredible claims that the material they saw was not of this Earth. And that's when the whole idea of a massive cover-up really took hold, with Area 51 becoming the mythical place where the aliens and their ship were hidden away.
So, if it wasn't aliens, what on earth was the government trying so hard to hide? Well, the real answer isn't in outer space. It's right here on Earth, tangled up in the high-stakes paranoia and the incredible tech race of the Cold War.
See, back in 1954, President Eisenhower had a problem. He needed a super-secret spot to build and test spy planes to keep an eye on the Soviet Union. And they found the perfect place, this remote, dry lake bed in the middle of the Nevada desert called Groom Lake. It was already inside a military test range, so it was completely off-limits and totally hidden from public view.
Now, the very first big secret to come out of this base was the U-2 spy plane. This thing flew at unbelievable altitudes. We're talking 70,000 feet, way higher than any passenger jet, snapping pictures deep inside Russia. But then, in 1960, disaster struck. A U-2 was shot down, the pilot was captured, and the whole secret program was blown wide open. This huge embarrassment forced the US to go back to the drawing board and create something even more untouchable.
And what they came up with, honestly, it looks like something straight out of science fiction. This is the SR-71 Blackbird. An aircraft so revolutionary, so far ahead of its time that it really did look alien. And its birthplace, you guessed it, Area 51.
Just to give you a sense of how insane this thing was, the Blackbird could fly at over 3,400 kilometers per hour. That's more than 3 times the speed of sound. To this day, it's still the fastest plane of its kind ever built. Literally nothing could catch it.
And it didn't just fly fast, it flew high. We're talking 26,000 meters. That's about 85,000 feet up. So just imagine you're on the ground and you look up and see this bizarre black shape moving at impossible speeds, higher than anything you've ever seen. You wouldn't think it was from here, would you? Okay, so let's put the pieces together. You've got these incredible, top-secret aircraft being tested in the skies, and at the exact same time, the public is completely obsessed with the idea of flying saucers. You see where this is going, right? It was the perfect storm.
And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Why were there so many reports of UFOs right in that specific part of the world? It wasn't a coincidence, not at all. There was a very real connection between what people thought they were seeing and what the military was actually flying.
And this is just brilliant in a sneaky kind of way. The CIA figured out they didn't need to deny the UFO rumors, they could actually use them. Let people think they're seeing spaceships,
It was the ultimate camouflage. I mean, who would ever guess the truth was an American spy plane that looked like it was from the future? For years and years, the myth was just way more powerful than the reality. But slowly, thanks to declassified documents and a lot of digging, the real story finally started to come out.
So remember that weather balloon from Roswell? Well, in 1994, the Air Force finally came clean. It wasn't a weather balloon. It was part of this top-secret spy program called Project Mogul. They were using these massive high-altitude balloon arrays to try and listen for the sound waves from Soviet atomic bomb tests. So yeah, it was top secret, but it wasn't alien. Now, a huge figure in the Area 51 alien story is a guy named Bob Lazar. He came forward claiming he worked at the base on captured alien technology. But his story really doesn't hold up. Investigators found out he completely made up his degrees from MIT and Caltech. And his big claim about a magical element 115 that powered the saucers, well, scientists eventually created that element for real in 2003, and it definitely does not create anti-gravity field.
And then, the big one. After decades of official denial and no comment, the CIA in 2013 finally admitted that Area 51 is a real place. It happened because of a Freedom of Information Act request that forced them to declassify documents about the base's real history, developing those incredible U-2 and SR-71 spy planes.
But even with the truth finally out there, the legend of Area 51 is just too good to die, right? It's evolved from this dark, shadowy conspiracy theory into this massive, almost playful piece of pop culture.
And nothing, I mean nothing, shows this better than the whole Storm Area 51 thing from 2019. It started as a complete joke on Facebook, but it went insanely viral. Over 2 million people clicked attending. Of course, in the real world, only about 6,000 actually showed up. And it turned into a kind of weird desert music festival instead of an invasion. And the guy who started it all, his reason is just perfect. Matty Roberts was just messing around online. This quote really just sums up the huge difference between online hype and, the reality of trying to storm a heavily guarded military base in the desert.
So when you boil it all down, the great mystery of Area 51 wasn't about visitors from another planet. It was about hiding incredible, game-changing human technology. And that leaves us with a pretty interesting question for today, doesn't it? The government now talks about unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs. So if the UFOs of the past were a cover for spy planes, what kind of top-secret tech could be hiding in plain sight right now?